Not much. Obviously, Big Gabi had to leave the pitch with an issue, and he hasn't been able to train yet. So let's see how he evolves in the next 24 hours, whether he's available or not for the weekend.
And any news on the longer-term injuries in Mikel, Ødegaard, Havertz, Jesus? Any news on timescale?
They are all progressing really well. They are started to do certain activities. They are all super willing to be available as quick as possible, but at the moment none of them are yet in contention in the next week or so.
Incredible stat, 3 goals conceded only in your first 12 games. It's the least in the history of the club. Is there a motivation to create more history, maybe even break Chelsea's record from back in the day?
Yeah, we want that this kind of records that we are getting a lot at the end brings the silverware and the trophies that we want. But obviously the more we can produce, I think the closer we're going to be to achieve what we want to do. And that defensive record is very good, but we need to be consistent. It's only just the start of the season, and the aim is to continue improving things, which we can do still, a lot of them, to even better.
Crystal Palace next, I guess a big game for Gabriel Eze in particular, his first game against his former club. What are his emotions like? What have you noticed?
It's a big game for us because last season here we dropped some points, and it's the 4th game in a row that we're going to play against opponents that we drop points, and this season we've been able to beat them. So we focus on that. We know that for Eps it's going to be a very special match with the history and what he did for Palace. But the focus is on the team.
Just on those 4 games, because you preempted my next question, but does that form part of your messaging to the team? Look, we didn't win against these 4 teams last season. You've done it with the previous 3. Now the chance to do it with the 4th.
Well, if we want a very different outcome, we better do very different things that we did last year, especially against these fixtures. So we know what Palace are doing, what Oliver has done for the football club, and the way they are getting results. So it's going to be a really tough match. But we're going to play again in front of our crowd, and we are confident if we hit our level, we have a big chance to win it.
Final one for me, Mikel. A lot of people are talking about the strength of your squad. Just from the manager's perspective, does that bring with it its own challenges? Because I'm guessing it can't be easy for you to leave out players who maybe deserve to be in the team. And how accepting, on the flip side, do the players have to be to know, look, you're not going to play as much as maybe you deserve or you want to?
Well, there are 2 sides to it. One, the emotional part and my attachment with the individual, with the person, and I would love to play all of them. But the second one, obviously, without a question of a doubt, I'd rather have this situation, the situation we had in the last few years, when at some point we were very short in numbers. So we have created a very strong environment, a really competitive and supportive environment that hopefully can challenge to be very competitive every game. That's the aim, and that's what we want to achieve, and we just all go towards that direction.
Thank you.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
You've obviously got some players who are in great form, but looking at Crystal Palace, Jean-Philippe Mateta looks like a completely new player. 5 goals so far in the opening, 8 Premier League games. How do you stop him?
Well, first of all, is obviously what they do as a team at their level of organization. They have very clear intentions of how they want to attack and which moment they use to attack and to hurt opponents. So stopping the source is probably the best way. When you get into certain situation within in 1v1, you know that that is very prolific, and it's been very, very successful, especially recently. So trying to avoid that.
From their attacker to one of your attackers, Victor, of course, getting a brace midweek against Atletico. What was your conversation with him like after that? Of course, a lot of rumblings around.
He didn't need a conversation. He just needed a hug and just look at him and enjoy how happy he was after the game. And I think we were all very happy because he fully deserves that.
My final one, 15 goals so far from the opening games. I know you're used to many questions being asked about the manner in which the goals are being scored, with 2/3 of them coming from set pieces. Are you at all concerned that it's only 5 from open play at this stage?
No, that's because I don't see football like open play and set pieces. I see the game in a different way.
Okay, thank you. Best of luck.
Hi, Mikel. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
You going on from that then, the set pieces. I mean, a lot of people say that Arsenal score most of their goals from set pieces. They still can't stop you, and yet football seems to be going more to teams who want to be like you, scoring from set pieces. How have you done and perfected this?
With work. First of all, creating the culture, giving to that part of the game the importance that it has, understanding that the game football is evolving and the opponents are behaving against us that we have to maximize certain things that happen very frequently. So something that happens very frequently better has a lot of value to us. So trying to maximize that and be effective.
At what point did you say though, or did you hone in on the fact that this was going to be such a rich source of goals and so good for your team?
10 years ago.
Explain.
10 years ago, I said, I think it has to be, I wasn't here, but 10 years ago I said, it's a massive thing to do that, and I started to have a vision and try to implement a method and try to be surrounded by the best people to deliver that.
Just a couple more. Firstly on the defence, Arsene Wenger's success, everyone thought was built around that real famous back four and David Seaman at the back. Are you trying to replicate that? Without copying and pasting, are you trying to replicate that Arsenal success with a tight back four?
I just go back to the history of football in general and the teams that have the best defensive record most of the times, except for the last 3 seasons in the Premier League, which we've been. Normally you win the league. So just go against those stats, but the stronger we are in that foundation, the bigger the probability to win games are.
Last one. It's easy when you're a manager and things are going wrong. I know what I need to put right. How easy is it to manage when things are going perfectly as they are now? And there's temptation not to touch anything, or is there temptation still to?
No, but they are far from perfect, and there are a lot of things that we must do better. Obviously, there are a lot of things that we're doing very, very well, and we need to maintain that. So it's just about understanding that the margins to win football games at this level are very small. In certain moments, we have certain luck. In certain moments, we have fully deserved to win them, but there's not going to be the same trajectory all the way in the season, and we need to be prepared for that. So the more alert we are, the more urgency we have, the more desire we have for the next game, we're going to be in a better place to win the game.
Thank you.
Hi Mikel.
Hi.
We saw at the Emirates on Tuesday the light show and the integration of the fans' phones. We also saw the messages at half-time and before the game started to encourage fans to get back into their seats as well as early as possible to create a supportive and intimidating atmosphere. How important is that element for you in potentially title race and the impact it can have on games?
Key, capital. One of the most important things. And I love that because we don't expect supporters to turn up to the stadium. We want them just to play the game with us, which is very different. And in order to do that, you have to be in your seat. You have to be in your seat with a certain behavior, with a certain body language. And it's a good test. Sunday at 2 p.m., how are we going to turn up after a big Champions League? And if we're going to go to another step and do something that we didn't do last year, everybody has to turn into the stadium with that mindset. So that's what I want to say.
And can I ask you about what it's like